Hello and welcome to this next part of the series. We're checking out submissions to the Dungeon Crawler Game Jam of April 2022. And this time we will have a look at the Spelling Dungeon by VSI Studio. But before we look into the page and these nice screenshots, I will give you a quick note regarding two links in case this is the first episode you're watching regarding the Game Jam. So the first link will lead to this itch.io page where you can download all the games for free or play them directly in the browser. Like in this game, you might be asked if you want to donate something, but you don't have to. So you can use that link to get there and also just play along, for example, if you want to. The second link will contain or will lead you to a playlist of all the episodes I released so far. So in the end, it should contain all episodes of all the games in the jam, and it also contains a first pilot episode which contains definitions about the dungeon crawler term and the rules for this game jam. So for example, the games were all created within 7 days of time, for example. So let's have a look into the presentation here. The Spelling Dungeon entry for the Dungeon Crawler Jam 2022 had a lot less time this time around, but here's my entry. A short dungeon crawler focused around a typing mechanic. It's actually the first game of that type we have in this jam. I think they were much more frequent in the last one. I think the rules are also a bit more leading towards like this classical gameplay this time. But in the last jam you can also find a playlist for that on my channel. In the last jam we had much more like typing games or also rhythm games, but this one I think is the first typing game now. You defeat enemies, cast spells and chuck potions by typing out the words that appear either above enemies or next to the relevant abilities items. Numpad to move or click on the arrows on screen. Click on defeated enemies to loot them, on shops to open them and buy stuff, and on levers to open doors. For the rest, type. I wish I had more time to refine a lot of things, but perhaps another time. I only had 2 to 3 days out of the whole week to actually work on this, so I ripped a lot of the assets and movement AI from my previous entry. And this is also going back to what I mentioned before. The rules of the jam you can find in the first episode, so you can reuse assets or use libraries with assets and so on. So that's completely okay as long as the main part of the like gameplay loop or whatever you want to call it is created within the jam. All art is from the Unity Asset Store, more exactly from Synth Studios and Mesh Tint. Music as well from John Leonard French. Sounds, well, from a lot of places. Alright, so in that case there had been a post-jam version 1.03 has been uploaded, bug fixes and tweak. And this is the version we will have a look at because I think it's always best to check out the latest version. I mean, I'm not judging whether or not the rating of the game within the jam was justified or something like that. I'm just, I want to check out how well this game is doing, what ideas are in there and so on, and I don't want to get like unnecessarily frustrated by bugs which have already been fixed. So anyways, let's have a look into Spelling Dungeon in the version of 1.03. And just a few days later we are finished with the transition into the game, because there were some problems starting it. So when I had the folder on my secondary screen and I started it, it actually considered my secondary screen as main screen, and then the game was running there with an aspect, because that's a vertical screen, the aspect ratio was broken. And while I have been able to focus the game on the other screen, also by unplugging the screen and so on, the aspect ratio was still broken. So thanks for a hint from Sopadan for fixing that. I actually had to go, in that case, usually, for example, with Xeno Hunters, I had the same issue, but with Xeno Hunters, the aspect ratio was also fixed when I managed to start it on the right screen. In this game here, it was not fixed. The aspect, it was starting on the right screen, but the aspect ratio was still broken. So I had to delete the registry entry for that game in Windows, and that allowed me to now have the real aspect ratio in that game. And this, I mean, there's no way to change it in any setting or so. So that's in case you're considering playing that game, then make sure that you're starting it on the right screen. I'm not 100% sure what you can do to enforce that. It might be that you have to have the browser with the exe file on the right screen and start it there, but I'm not 100% sure. Just to make sure, you might want to unplug any screen which are not your main screen, then start the game, and then you can plug them back in. Just so you are aware. That's a bit annoying in that case. So the spelling dungeon. Let's start it by VSI Studio, and I need to type play in order to get into the game. Something foul has happened beneath the castle. The royal wizard was working on some sort of ritual and something went wrong. And actually, now you can't hit the keyboard, you need to use the mouse. He claims he was preparing a fertility rite for the king and queen, but he accidentally misspelled a couple of words in his incantation and something woke beneath the earth. Now creatures have invaded the palace cellars and something stirs in the cavernous depths beneath the castle. As the royal head of security, it is your job to end this threat. Like you. As the head of the royal security thing, am I not like upper management or something and should have my minions to clear out the dungeon? Gameplay. Type out the words above enemies' heads to attack them. Repeat until they die. Don't forget to loot their bodies. By the way, I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the intro already, but we had a typing game in the last jam, and that was called Sentenced to Death, which was also kind of fun, but it had some nasty bugs when you were turning and you were attacked, then it kind of broke. Alright, spells and potions work the same way. Once you obtain them, just type out the name next to them to activate them, such as healing. Good luck. There's no proper saving. If you die, you restart the level, but you retain your level and to learn skills. And there's no options menu or anything of the sort. Sorry, this was for a game jam that I had very little time for. Okay, well. Okay, we need to use... That's not working. So turning right works, but turning left isn't. Okay, so the keyboard works, but you have to use the numpad. So these buttons are broken, unfortunately. That's maybe something which also should be fixed with a post-jam update. Okay, so I'm using the keyboard now to control that. So first impression with movement is extremely good. The perspective is too narrow, so I think we are a bit too deep, but still can't see the floor. Yeah, so the perspective should be like some way back. We are too much in like in the front of the tile, so we can't see anything on the left, we can't see anything on the right, we cannot see the like what's above us, and we can also not see the floor, and that's, yeah, unfortunately the worst case. But the controls feel great. it's queuing up at least one movement and is executing the turn right away. So that feels great. The perspective, not so much. The graphics, of course, also look quite cool. I mean, it's this cell shading kind of optic. Not sure if this is even cell shading. It might not be like filled textures or something, but it looks fine. Vivid. Nexus. Deter. How can I pick up loot? Probably automatic then. Trove. Hoist. Snake dice. Yeah, and it might be that with the typing, the developer already had to add some kind of queuing mechanic or something for the keys to make that work. And then, of course, it makes sense to also implement it for the movement. So the typing for the combat works very well. I just hope that, for example... oh, we had a level up. I just hope that it cannot appear like this enemy is very high. Let's say that there's an ogre or something in front of us. I hope that the text is not outside of the screen. That would be a bit unfortunate. Okay. So we got a full level, full healing. We also can cast a healing spell. But let's just focus on damage for now. Because, as I used to say, a dead enemy doesn't do any damage. Yeah. So let's see if we can open that door. Nope. Also cannot type open or something like that. I cannot click on that. Open! Okay. So there is a slight delay in movement. So it always queues one step. Yeah, it only queues one step, which is perfectly fine. But there is a bit of a... And you cannot hold the key. This would be maybe nice to be able to do that. There is a bit of a harsh stop in between the tiles, but yeah, this is also not really an issue. Covered. Flimsy. I'm not sure if we can... I mean, with the other door, it looked like we can go through it, and with this one, not so much. Sometimes it doesn't feel like the... Oh, shop. Sometimes it doesn't feel like the sound is playing for the... Like, here. The sound is playing for the items. For the typing. Ah. So you can press 5 to look up into the center and down. And I think we broke the shop. Yeah, you can only open it once apparently. Yeah, now it's gone. Maybe I shouldn't have closed the window the way I did. It might be that it's now invisible and it's just activated and deactivated while it's being invisible or something like that. Forlorn. Wistful. Uh-huh. I mean, yeah, it doesn't move. So, I mean, this one was the only door which was clearly openable. Probably activates something somewhere. Yeah, now I don't know how often I typed it. Okay, let's just check. No. This door again. No. This is still closed. Yeah, now with these longer paths, it starts getting a bit annoying that you cannot keep holding the button, and also not that you have these steps in between. It's delaying it a bit. But I'm not sure what this is doing now. And another thing is, no, I'm not quite sure. Sometimes it feels like it shouldn't have queued up the second movement. But that's probably because it takes so long to go. It doesn't really take so long. Maybe the stopping motion is too long, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, something somewhere, but I mean, we checked everything now. But I don't see anything. Yeah, like there. It feels like we should be able to go through that door now, but maybe we also broke some other windows by having closed the shop. Maybe some additional window should have appeared when we pulled the lever. So that's for healing. Okay. We can't go through that one. There's nothing. That's also not working. Yeah. I think the game is broken. Oh, this was everything. But it's unlikely. There should be... I should probably not have clicked on the lever twice. So... yeah, I can also not quit it. So I will kill it and restart and try again. And see... actually, we can continue the game, but I will just restart now. Thing hoist. So they don't seem to be randomized. Or maybe they are. Ah, now we have something different here. Fireball spell. Deal massive damage to an enemy in front of you. Let's take that. Not that we need it, but... yeah. Bams. So there's a cooldown on that. And I mentioned the perspective issue in the beginning, and I think part of that is not just that we are too much in front of the tiles are also too big, and that might be one of the issues I had with movement. And that also is the issue that if we are here and the enemy is in front of us, it feels like there's still one tile more. I mean, with flying enemies, you also have an additional, well, not issue with that, but it makes it harder to see on which tile they are. Also, they don't have a shadow here, right? I didn't have enough mana anymore. Alright, so we did not use the shop yet. Now it worked. Okay, so using the shop probably broke the lever, because previously when I used that it also didn't move, right? So there was definitely a bug. We don't have enough mana. Ah. Okay, now I need to use maybe healing if we have. No, we don't. Two hit points left, so maybe I should go back and try to buy a potion now. Shop. Buy health. Okay, I closed it with hitting escape now instead of button click. I'm not sure if that makes any difference. Health pot. Yeah, it's not doing a whole lot. Come, snake. Oh, oh. Okay. And you cannot move back once you're engaged. I didn't know that. The evil beneath the castle runs rampant. Restart level. Yes. So let's try again. Jerky. 2 damage. Reduce damage taken. That also sounds nice. Let's take that one now. I'm not sure how much damage they are doing, but of course, if you only have enemies which are doing like 1 or 2 points of damage, so I bet deals 2 points of damage. So in that case, 1 damage less is a huge difference. And the 1 damage we are doing more is not that much of a difference. We also kept our drinks from before. Now, I hope that this is now okay. And the game broke again. So, I guess if you use the shop once, it will probably also... No, it does open. So... Oh? No idea. Maybe it's related to the shop, maybe it's not. But there's definitely something wrong. Ah. Ah. So now we had 2 enemies. And we can... There was... I could target the lever for a moment. Okay, that bravado vestige. Okay, so this is leading back to the previous door. Okay. That worked. So now we can go through that one. And this one is also open, right? Okay, so we cannot shoot through the door. I don't really want to use that. But we cannot use the fireball, that's taking too much mana. Ah, okay. So we are healed up. Let's take the sun on enemies and freeze a few seconds. Let's reduce the damage further and just make us invincible. That's, by the way, also something you usually... I mean, in this jam game, it doesn't really make much of a difference. But having these... the stacking armor is usually a bad idea in game. I mean, obviously, that's breaking the balance, because every additional point of armor is increasing our survival exponentially. If we have, let's say, 10 hit points, enemy does 5 damage and we have got 1 armor. So 4 damage is being done every time, right? So we could take 3 hits and we would die. if we now stacked up to 2 armor, then the enemy down from 5 would go to 3, and now it would need to hit 4 times to get the 12 damage to kill us. Now if we up that to 3 armor and so on, at some point, for example, if the enemy is only doing 2 more damage, then by this 1 additional point of armor, we are not just adding like armor from, let's say, 5 to 6, but we are basically reducing the enemy damage from 2 to 1. So at that point we are taking 50% less damage. So it's basically increasing exponentially. So that's why in games like MMOs or so, which have to have this balancing in mind, the points of armor is every additional point of armor is basically doing less and less, so that you have a kind of diminishing returns in the armor, but a linear increase in your time to survive rate. Hope that makes sense. And in, for example, in spiderweb games, they just solve it by only having percentages. So you have an armor which reduces 10% damage, and you have a helmet which reduces 5% damage. But now, if it would stack, you could at some point reduce 100% of damage, which it will not do. So what in spiderweb games is happening is that you basically subtract the 10%, where you could also say you multiply the values, or you could say that you subtract the 10% of damage. Now you only have 90% left, and then the next value is only applied at the rest of the stuff, so that every additional percentage, so that they are not added together and then one chunk is taken out, but every additional percentage has only an impact on a lesser amount of remaining leftover damage, if you want to call it that. Wistful, anxious. Sounds of skittering and howls echo from beyond this door. It is clear that there are a lot more monsters down here for you to defeat. Perhaps you are drawing closer to the source of all this. Let's use the healing. A new enemy. Oh. Here, health pots. Okay, so the range isn't going that far. Ooh. Need to wait. But of course, if we now get hit again, we are pretty much dead. There's another enemy. Okay, there's another shop. Buy health. Buy mana. Buy mana. Buy mana. Buy mana. Alright, let's just keep buying that. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Nope, it's not doing anything. So we already need to be in close combat basically here to use the fireball, which is kind of pointless. Okay, so in that case we save typing one attack. This is also closed. Okay, that worked. Just snakes. And whatever that is. There were once guards posted down here, but why? Why is there even an outpost so far down in the caverns? The guards are long dead. They were no match for the lurking monsters. But that also looks cool. Nice. Would have been nice to still have some music. I think there was music in the main menu, right? So you happen across a journal that one of the soldiers kept. It speaks of a gate to the demon realm somewhere deeper in the caverns. That must be where all this evil has come from. And yeah, that one is broken again. Not sure why. What? So I had to click on it after typing it? But that's also new and I didn't do that before. Weird. Okay. So let's head back. Tenuo. Fireball. Tenuo. And I'm dead. Oh. Okay, I mean, I keep everything, so it's going... Ah, no, okay, we just have to restart the level. So yeah, it definitely gets easier now. Yeah, now I need to type and click it for some reason. So it somehow is depending on what you did already with the mouse. Let's just take more damage. Flippant. Okay, we still need to type it 3 times, so the additional damage was pointless. Didn't do anything. this was closed. Ignominö flippant. There's the shop. So I should probably not use the shop just yet. Okay, that worked again. Okay, buy mana, buy mana, buy mana, buy mana. Okay. And mana pot, healing. Yeah. So maybe the status was also saved of some of the levers. Okay, they are dying with just one hit now, but this one isn't, so... And now I need to still click it. Yeah, that's weird. And this looks like a secret passage here. No, can't do anything. Nah, we killed it, but yeah. Yeah, they are a bit heavy, and I mean, as you can tell, I am mostly typing blind, but not quite. I never learned like real 10-finger typing. It's more like intuition or something. Memory, where what is, but I don't have my fingers in the right positions or anything like that. It's also not really possible because, I mean, you have your right hand, or if you're left hand, I don't know. Anyways, you have one hand on the numpad to move, so you have to go... Ah, okay, I didn't pay attention there. You have one hand on your numpad. Yeah. So you have to move over anyways, but I also need to take a look now and then if my hand position is right and if I'm hitting the right keys. And of course, obviously, I mean, that's what the game is about, so that's nothing to blame the game for. It's just that I'm not great in that. cooldown. We will also heal after next battle. Okay. Cooldown reduction with mana. No, let's take the damage. I hope that I can kill them with just one move. 2 moves, so 1 less than before. Nope. So that was also pointless. Now I need to click. They are dying with just 1. So that's our way out. Now I can just click on it without typing. Ah, okay, the fireball now kills it instantly. Yeah, it might be that there had been a patch which changed some stuff. Like, you remember that in the beginning there was also the tip about healing, and it looks like for a very short time there is a loot icon, so the mouse over is displaying an icon to loot, and that's you automatically loot. So maybe it has been changed, and with the change it kind of broke something else. Yeah, we'll just kill these with fireballs, but we will probably get even harder enemies now. This is a stairs, a trap or something. Either way, we're even deeper now. And we can still kill them with fireballs, even though they are out of fire. Animus. Yeah. Hold on. Okay. One more. All right. Still cooldown. What's that? A dragon? Interesting. It's probably the final enemy then. And I will just spam it with fireballs. Oh. As the great beast falls before you, a shudder passes through the caverns. Once the rumbling subsides, all is quiet and peaceful once more. The evil awoken beneath the castle has been vanquished, and the people are safe once more. Congratulations! Alright. We won! Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a very nice entry. By VHS. Right, VHS Studio, VSI Studio, sorry. The Spelling Dungeon. Yeah, as I mentioned, I think the movement is fine, but could still be improved. Like, there is this stop in between the tiles. But before I would go into the movements, I would reduce the tile size, which would then fix the perspective. And then you would need to readjust the movement speed, so then it will probably be solved automatically, because I think the speed is kind of fine, but yeah, there's a stop in between, and if the tiles were smaller, I think it would probably feel worse, but then you needed to remove a little bit more of that stopping, and that I think would be a bit more obvious to do then. Yeah. Regarding the gameplay, I mean the typing stuff, that worked fine. Of course, this one, I think that one should be fixed now with, I mean, if the developer has any time, I think that is something which should be easy to fix, and it's a bit, yeah, sad, unnecessary that this button is not working. And of course, the bug with the levers should also be fixed, but I don't know how deep that goes. Like sometimes you need to click on it, sometimes you need to type it, sometimes it seems like you need to do both, so that's a bit weird. Yeah, that's it for the Spelling Dungeon by VSI Studio. And if you like to see more games, then please feel free to check out the playlist, which you can find down in the video description, with all the episodes of the Jam so far, and it will be filled up with all the rest once I played them, or subscribe to the channel to just get notified for any new videos for this jam, or for my let's plays, for reviews, previews, whatever I'm doing. So feel free to do that, and with that, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.